Hopefully it'll connect. My internet provider is digging up anywhere in the neighborhood you go, they're like digging things up. So I noticed this morning I was having some more there it is, some more connection issues. Okay, so yesterday, here's what I promised. Oh, let me get you this. Would you rather? This is kind of gross. I did it just because it's testing week, blah, blah, blah. Would you rather eat 100 raw oysters or gourmet prepared cow tongue? Neither, exactly. Well, it's a would you rather, so it's one or the other. That's not an option, neither nor. What would you rather eat? Raw oysters or gourmet prepared cow tongue? Yeah. I think, me personally, I would do the cow tongue because it's cooked, right? And it would be by somebody who apparently would know what they're doing versus something that's raw, right? Yeah. I think I would do this. But anyway, that's the question today. Okay. So are you ready to get started, Brooke? Okay. All of this is in the module, and I will publish it, et cetera, so that you'll have access to it as you need it. Okay, so we started with this yesterday. Do you remember this? And I said that the weirdest thing about this in the past tense and the preterite tense is how do we like translate it? Yeah, I know, right? That's what I'm saying. Like it has to be gourmet prepared. At least it, like I say, at least it would be cooked. I would feel better about that anyway. Okay, so poder means to be able to, or to say like can I, or I can, whatever, in the present tense. But in the preterite tense, the hard part about it is how to translate it. So we would say I was able to, right? Like we don't have a verb, right? We have to put things together. So we would have to say, I was able to, or I could, right? In the past tense, I guess, I could have, right? Instead of I can. So it has an irregular stem, and then it has our regular ER endings. So again, the hardest part about poder is knowing what it means, and especially in the past tense, like how to translate it. Good morning, Arshad. So what we're talking about in this the very last, you guys, the very last lesson in all the textbook, okay, is how to give permission. So if we're saying, or not give permission. So if we're saying, if our verb is can, like, can I go to the restroom, or may I go to the restroom? Permission, giving permission. So let's see what this has to say. And again, this is all in the module. Okay. So it says, use the verb poder to ask for and give permission. For example, puedo salir este fin de semana. Remember that salir means to go out. So the question is, can I, or we would say in English, may I go out this weekend? Okay. And then to give permission, sure, sí, puedes salir. Okay. After you've done your homework. So yes, you can. Now, when we ask about ability, like can I do this? Can I do that? The idea is that it's followed by some kind of action, right? Can I talk? Can I go for a walk? Can I go to the mall? Can I play video games? It seems that in order to ask permission or whatever, to talk about something you can or cannot do, what are we doing, right? So we have to be able to fill it in with another verb, okay? So, for example, when you want to express permission in general terms, okay, in general terms, and we're going to contrast these in just a second, we can say se puede plus the infinitive of another verb. The infinitive, remember, is the action. So, for example, se puede dar comida a los peces. Yes, you can, generally speaking, one can feed the fish, right? One can feed the fish. Or se pueden tomar fotos, right? One can take pictures in the museum, right? Or since it's a question, can one? So that's what we're talking about, like in a general sense. Okay. Can a person, can people? Can a person feed the fish? Can people take pictures in the museum? Okay. When we are talking about just plain old giving permission to each other, right? Not generally speaking, but specifically to Brooke or specifically to Arshad or specifically to me, okay? Then we would just conjugate poder as normal, right? As normal, meaning this way, okay? This is a normal conjugation, okay? Like we're talking to somebody. But if we're talking about it in general, like, oh, can a person, swim at the beach at night, like generally speaking, then we would use either se puede or se pueden. Again, singular or plural. Okay. Another use of the verb, you guys, I know this is boring, but we got to figure it out so we can finish. Another use of the verb is puedes reciclar. You can recycle plastic here. Okay. So, in other words, being able to do something. You are able to recycle plastic here. Okay. So these are all like positive things, right? Yes, you can. We're giving permission, right? We're giving permission. So that's a go. When we come down here, we're saying, no, you can't, right? So the negative form of poder can be used to deny permission. No puedes usar la computadora. You cannot use the computer here, okay? Talking to you. Notice it's puedes, right? Like it's you, Brooke. You can't use the computer here. You, Arshad, cannot use the computer here, right? But again, when we're talking about in general terms, it's the same thing, only we say no se puede. No se puede botar basura en el suelo. One can't throw trash on the ground, okay? One can't throw trash on the ground. It's like a general term. Oh, you shouldn't do it. One can't do it, okay? Same here, but plural. No se pueden botar las botellas, right? Botellas is plural, so we use pueden. Okay? All right, any questions about general versus specific? If it's specific, you just conjugate it, right? If it's talking about things in general terms, you have to have se, and then you're only going to use the singular or the plural, puede or pueden, right? if what you're talking about is singular or what you're talking about is plural. So like this case is pictures, so it's plural. Okay. All right. Any preguntas? No preguntas? Okay. All right. Bueno. So let's go on. So what I need for you guys to go, I know Arshad, you've already done this. Go back to your guided notes, Brooke, in Canvas. Let me know when you're there. Okay, you're there. All right. So here we have our verbs, present tense and past tense, right? You're going to keep scroll. Brooke, here are the same notes that we just talked about with the explanation. So using the grammar notes above, respond to the following questions in full sentences with the proper form of poder, or fill in the blank with the proper use of poder. So in other words, are we talking to somebody specifically? We would use the correct form of poder. But if we're talking about people in general or something in general, then we need to use have the proper use of poder, either puede, se puede, or se pueden. Okay. So let's do this first one together. El insecto puede vivir en el árbol y la planta. So what do you think it's asking, Brooke? What do you think it's asking? Is the insect, or can the insect what? You can unmute, Brooke. It's just the three of us. Can the insect what? What's vivir? Arshad, you can help us. Yeah. So can the insect live in a tree and in a plant, right? So el insecto puede vivir, and the insect can live in a tree or in a plant. So then my question to you is, are you going to use the regular form of the verb, or are you going to use this general thing, insects in general? What do you think, Brooke? Okay, the regular form, absolutely. Okay, and then the next one, the second part of the question says, well, what about you? Right? And so obviously then you would need to make it negative. So we would say what, Brooke? How would we start this response? It's just a yes or no question, right? So we would just say, yes, the insect can live in the tree and a plant, and no, I cannot live, right? So how do we do it? Again, unmute, pop it in the chat. I'll help you out, Brooke. It's a yes or no, right? So we're just going to restate the question in our answer. Isn't that right, Brooke? Okay, so if you're saying regular form, then we wouldn't use se, because that's for like all insects in general, right? But here we're saying the insect, like that insect right there, el insecto, right? And so we would just generally conjugate it. So if this is, okay, follow me here, Brooke. Okay, you with me? So if we're saying yes, the insect can live in the tree and the plant, right? Then all we have to do is say yes, right? El insecto or el, whatever, puede vivir, blah, 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 and finish it up. All you're doing is restating the question. Does that make sense? And then for ourselves, if we're answering, and what about you? Can you live? And then you would say no, right? Yo no puedo vivir, blah, blah, blah. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Yeah, because we're answering the question. And you? No, I can't. Okay. Arshad, I didn't grade yours yet. So if you wanted to make sure you had it right, you can pull it up. Okay. So Brooke, one more thing. Number 2, notice it says general, right? So can touch the leaf, right? So we want to be able to say one can touch the leaf. So how would we do number 2? And then I'll let you work on your own. Number 2 is generally giving permission. One can. So how do we do that? Again, you can scroll up here. One can touch. What would we do? What's the general form? So in our general terms right here, right, Brooke? I don't know if you can see my screen. Of course, you have it on yours as well. In general terms, right, it's either going to be se puede or se pueden. It's kind of like in English where we say one can, right? Oh, one can, help clean the environment. One can, right? One in general, right? So because oha is singular, then we would fill in the blank with se puede, right? One can, anybody can touch the leaf. Does that make sense? Okay. So, all right. Versus number 4, right? We're saying you. So we're saying you cannot play with the bird. So you, meaning specifically, in which case then we would have to use the correct form of the verb. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'll give you some time to work on that. I'll kind of follow along in Go Guardian if you pull it up. And then I can help you. Arshad, there's hang on, let me get there. If you're comfortable with what you turned in your guided notes, while we're working, I can give you a quick link for something that you can practice with. Give me 1 second. And then Arshad, of course, you also want to make sure, because I haven't checked, that you have all your VHL things done. And Arshad, Brooke and I did this yesterday, I think, before you came to class or after you left or something like that. So if you want to practice, you can pick any game, pick any review. There's the link in the chat. So number 3 is plural now, right? Brooke, las flores. And we're still talking about in general, right? People can look at the flowers. So if it's plural, it's kind of like gusta, gustan, right? You got to add that in to make it plural. There you go. Yeah, so you need to scroll up one more, Brooke. Scroll up one more. Keep going. There you go. And you have your forms of the verb, right? In the present tense. Were there 5 or 6? I have forgotten. Brooke, all done? If you're all done, you can go ahead and submit. Yay. Okay, muy bien. All righty, let me get my next screen pulled up here. All righty. I need for you guys to make sure that you can hear and see my screen, and then we'll just put our answers in chat, or you can unmute if you like. So this is going to be about the verb poder. Now remember, it means can, right? To be able to do something, okay? Can. But this is in the preterite tense, so it's that goofy stem.
Hola, this video covers the verb poder, can or to be able in the preterite.
Okay, can y'all hear that? Okay. All right, muy bien. Arshad, try to follow along. You can just pop your answers in the chat, please.
Let's read the present tense of poder really quick. In the present tense, poder is a stem changer or shoe verb.
Okay, we're gonna skip. We're gonna skip
Yo
some
puedo,
of these.
tú puedes, él puede, ella puede, usted puede, nosotros podemos, nosotras podemos, ellos pueden, ellas pueden, ustedes pueden. Okay? Notice how the O-to-UE change only occurs in the shoe. This is what it's called a shoe verb, okay, or stem changer. Okay? In the past, though, it's completely irregular. For now, let's look at some examples in the present tense. Yo no puedo trabajar hoy.
Okay. So present tense, yo no, was it A, B, C, or D? A, B, C, or D? Good, Arshad. A, B, C, or D? Brooke? Okay, muy bien. All right, let's try to focus so we can move through this quickly, you guys.
Ellos pueden hablar por teléfono gratis. Okay, now the preterite of poder, some alliteration for you. Yo pude, tú pudiste, él pudo, ella pudo, usted pudo, nosotros pudimos.
Okay, so remember now we're talking in past tense. And remember, you guys, there is no easy way to translate this, okay? Because in English, we got to add all kind of words to it, right? So nosotros, yes, Brooke, good. Arshad, what would your choice be? A, B, C, or D? D, okay. So again, you guys, the issues like translation, I couldn't, right? Or I wasn't able to, right? Or nosotros, we couldn't or we weren't able to. Okay, we got to add all kind of words in English.
Nosotras pudimos, ellos pudieron, ellas pudieron, ustedes pudieron.
Okay, we're skipping.
Completely weird. I know. No sé. So these examples again. Yo no puedo trabajar hoy. I can't work today. It becomes yo no pude trabajar hoy.
Okay. Yo no pude. I couldn't work today, or I wasn't able to work today. Okay.
I couldn't work today. Ellos pueden hablar por teléfono gratis. They can talk on the phone free. Ellos pudieron hablar por teléfono gratis. They were able to. They could talk on the telephone for free. So how about
Okay, we're going to skip.
But first I give you a sentence in the present tense and you change the verb to the preterite. Yo puedo salir con mis amigos.
All right. So the sentence on the screen says, I can go out with my friends. But what would it be in the past tense? Like I could go out, or I was able to go out with my friends. So would it be A, B, or C? Okay, Arshad. Good, Brooklyn. Arshad, what's your choice if we were to make it past tense? Okay, muy bien. Muy bien. Pude. Very good.
Yo pude salir con mis amigos. Salvador puede visitar a su abuela.
Okay. So how would we make this one past tense? He was able to visit his grandma. Okay, muy bien. Salvador pudo.
Salvador pudo visitar a su abuela. Nosotros no podemos nadar.
We can't swim. And we want to say we weren't able to swim. Okay. Muy bien. Pudimos. Right. Very good.
Nosotros no pudimos nadar. Ellas pueden bailar bien.
Okay. They can dance well. And we want to say they were able to dance well, or they could dance well in the past. Arshad, did you answer this one? I didn't see it pop up. It's plural. Arshad, plural. So, yeah. Pudieron, right? Muy bien. Again, the hardest part about this, you guys, is
Ellas
how to
pudieron
translate it.
bailar
Like,
bien.
what are we saying, you know?
¿Puedes ir al cine el viernes?
Okay. Can you go to the movie on Friday? So the question then would be, could you have gone? I guess, could you go? Or were you able to go? I guess would be the better. Arshad, what do you say? Okay, muy bien. Pudiste. Were you able to go to the movie? Pudiste. Okay.
¿Pudiste ir al cine el viernes? Los estudiantes no pueden entender la tarea.
Okay, we're going to skip a couple of these.
Los estudiantes no pudieron entender la tarea. ¿Ustedes pueden hablar con Paco?
Okay.
¿Ustedes pudieron hablar con Paco?
Let's finish this up.
Okay, now translate the following into Spanish. As always, pause the video if you need more time and use the word bank if you need help on a word. Also, if you forget how to conjugate or change poder to preterite, you can look below this video. I couldn't speak.
Okay. I couldn't speak. So, yo no puedo hablar or yo no pude hablar. Is it A or B? Okay, good, Brooke. How about you, Arshad? I couldn't speak. Or I wasn't able to speak. A or B, Arshad? Okay. Muy bien. Good job, you guys.
Yo no pude hablar. We could cook.
Okay. We could cook. We were able to cook. A or B? Arshad, you think A or B? Okay, you guys both said A. Let's see. Muy bien.
Nosotros pudimos
Okay,
cocinar.
one more.
How could you do that?
How could you do that? A or B? Arshad? A or B? All right, you guys said B. Good job. Nicely done. Okay, any questions about these two crazy things here? Yeah? All right. No questions? I'm going to stop sharing then. All right, you guys did a great job. Great job. All right. A couple more things that I would like for us to do today. Okay. Can you meet me in Canvas? Por favor. Meet me in Canvas. And when you get there, can you go to the VHL V text, the textbook online? Okay, our shot is there. Brooklyn, to go to the V textbook online. And when you get there, I'm going to try to enlarge this so that y'all can see where I am. Obviously, we're in Unit 8, right? We're in Unit 8. And when you get to Unit 8, we're in Desafío 4, or if it helps you, we're in page 456. So give me a thumbs up when you're there, por favor. Was that a thumbs up, Brooke? No. Oh, yeah. Okay. Arshad, are you there? Okay. Gracias. All right. Let me make this bigger because even I can't see it. Okay. So let's look at this first one. Excuse me 1 second, you guys. I got to sneeze. Hold on. Okay. I didn't want to sneeze in your ear. Okay. So, número 74, ¿qué podemos hacer? Right? There are many ways we can help save our environment. Choose the correct word to complete each sentence. So, this is just sort of a vocab review. So, I'm going to give you guys a minute. We've got 1 through 5, and you're going to match them with one of these, right? Either A or B. Pop them in the chat when you're done. Make sure you number them so I can make sense of them, por favor, Arshad. Yeah, we have to remember our vocab on this one. So if you need help, let me know. Remember, we're talking about saving the environment, right? Choose the correct word to complete each sentence. Arshada, if you need help, or Brooklyn, if you need help translating some of these, let me know. Okay, let's see. Okay, number one. Es importante reciclar las latas. So it's important to recycle the cans of, so for numero uno, clase, we would choose B, right? The metal, right? It's important to recycle metal cans. Okay, y'all with me on this? Sí o no? Sí? All right. Número dos. Hay que plantar, we should, right? One must plant more, plantar más animales or árboles, right? Obviously, our answer would be one must plant more trees, árboles. Debemos escribir, right? We should write, escribir, en los dos lados, on both sides of una hoja de papel, right? We should write on both sides of a paper. Okay. All right, let's try to figure out 4 and 5 together then, Brooke. Hay que, one must, keep clean. Remember limpiar, our verb when we talked about houses, to clean houses. One must keep clean what? What's aire? That's in our new vocab. What is the aire? What's it look like in English? We're talking about the environment. What's aire? El aire. What's it look like in English? Arshad? Aire? What's it look like in English if we're talking about the environment? What's your guess, Brooke? Yeah, the air. Absolutely, right? So one must keep clean the air in order to protect who? The birds, los pájaros, or los peces. That was in our vocab as well. So we're talking about the air. So what would be a better response, A or B? All right, muy bien, los pájaros, right? We want to make sure the air is clean for the birds, okay? And then siempre, always, one must apagar la luz, to turn off the light, so that we don't waste electricidad, right? Very good, electricidad, okay? Okay, so now the last thing I want us to do in here today, and I need you all to kind of follow along with me because you're going to need to listen, right? Or you're going to need to hear me, is exercise 75 right here. And help me out here. What is this question asking? ¿Se puede reciclar? There's that se puede. What does that mean? We just went over that. General versus specific. What does that mean? Se puede. Se puede reciclar. What do you think? How would we translate that? Well, it's general, right? Because we're not saying you or he or she or we. So one can, what? What is reciclar? To recycle, right? So can one recycle, right? We're talking about general people, like in general, okay? So it says, look at the items below. talk with your partner about what they are made of and ask if they can be recycled. Okay, so I'm going to ask the questions, Brooke, and you are going to respond. Okay, all right. So, numero uno. So, number one has been done for us, right? This is number one. So, I could say, ¿de qué es esta botella? What is this bottle made of? Okay, and you would say to me, es de plástico. It's plastic. That was in our vocab, right? Es de plástico. ¿Se puede reciclar? Can it be recycled? Sí, se puede. Yes, it can. Okay, or yes, one can recycle. Okay, are you with me, Brooke? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, all right. You may need to let me stop sharing 1 second. Let me check something. I wanted to make sure that the vocab is in the module, so you can open it up if you wanted to. And I'm pretty sure it's in there. I can't remember if I published it. Yeah. So Brooke, if you want Desafío Cuatro in Canvas, if you can open another tab or whatever, the slides are in there and you can look up the words if you need, or have your guided notes pulled up again, whatever you feel more comfortable doing. Okay, I'll give you a minute to get organized. Okay, so this will be the last thing we do today together, and then I'll turn you loose on some work. Right? You ready, Brooke? Give me a thumbs up when you got your vocab and you're settled and you're ready to go. Ready? Okay, muy bien. All right, let's look at número dos, right? Número dos. All right, Brooke. ¿De qué es esta botella? What's it made out of, Brooke? So we're following this example. We're following this model here, right? In here. ¿De qué es esta botella? What's it made out of? We say glass. The vocab slides are in the module. Remember the word for glass? It starts with a V. Yep. Okay, go ahead and unmute. Unless you want to type it, or unmute if you want to say it. Okay, yeah, so if we want to say it in a sentence, like in our example here, es de vidrio, right? It's made of glass. Okay, so then the next question over here, Brooke. ¿Se puede reciclar? Can it be recycled? So go ahead and unmute. Right here's your answer, B. Yeah, C what? Sí, se puede. Sí, se puede. Yes, it can be. One can recycle it, right? We're talking about general terms here. Okay. All right, let's try número 3. ¿De qué es estas? Now this is plural. Revistas. ¿De qué, I should say, de qué son estas revistas? What are these magazines of? ¿De qué son estas revistas? Sí. Okay, so in a sentence, right, Brooke? Son de papel. Okay, son, because now we're talking about something that's plural, right? This is what I'm asking of you, okay? Son de papel, right? Okay. ¿Se pueden reciclar, Brooke? ¿Se pueden reciclar? Can they be recycled? Okay. Yeah, except it's plural. So what do we add to puede to make it plural? Very good. Se pueden. Se pueden. Sí, se pueden reciclar. Okay, very good. All right. Número 4. ¿De qué es esta lata? ¿De qué es esta lata? Sí, es de metal, right? Es de, it's made of metal, right? Es de metal. Okay, muy bien. ¿Se puede reciclar? ¿Se puede reciclar? Sí, se puede reciclar. Sí, se puede. Okay. All right, our last one. Okay, now listen to my question, okay? ¿De qué ¿de qué son? I'm trying to think of this is in our vocab or not. I don't think we didn't have a word for wool or cotton or something like that, did we? We did not. No. Okay. So let's just go over here then. Okay, but listen carefully. Se pueden reciclar las ropas. Se pueden reciclar las ropas. Se pueden. Okay, muy bien. No, no se pueden. That's great, Brooke. Yay, because you remembered the no twice. You remember the no twice. All right, muy bien, muy bien. All right, good job. Okay, I'm going to, I don't know what time it is. Let's see what time it is. Okay, so we have about 15 minutes. And what I would like to do, let me stop sharing, is if you want to head over to Canvas. Okay, Brooke, give me a thumbs up if you're with me. Yeah, okay. Head on over to Canvas. Unidad 8. Desafío 4. Here is the tutorial on expressing permission, the si se puede, no se puede, et cetera, the general versus the specific. So if you're still unclear about those, you can watch that little tutorial. And then we have a short exercise here. Está prohibido. Is it allowed or not? Okay. And all you have to do is decide if it's the correct expression or not. Can you sleep in school? No, you can't sleep in school, right? Can you use your cell phone at the movies? No, you can't use the cell phone at the movies. Okay, you with me here? So these are like general statements. Okay, and look, there's only 6 of them, so no biggie. But when you're done with that, we need to make sure that we're working on our gallery walk. Okay, now I was hoping that Arshad could help us to figure out. Remember the exercise you did yesterday about throwing it away or recycling, and then it didn't pop up in your grade, in the grade book? Remember that? So I was hoping Arshad could do that today, and then we could see if it's a problem. We'll have to deal with it here in just a second, but go ahead and work on that. Holler at me if you have a question. When you're done, you should probably have time to work on your gallery walk as well. Okay. Okay. Interestingly, Brooke, can you hear me, Brooke? You still have your sound on? Okay. So Arshad has already completed that botar o reciclar, the one that we did yesterday. You must not have submitted it because his is showing and yours is not. So you might need to go back and see if you can submit it. It's not even showing up for me to be able to grade it for you. So you have to write, we have to write sentences there too. So it's something I have to be able to grade for you, right? So it was this one, huh, Brooke? This is the one we're talking about. So you have to follow the example. Okay. So that's let me make sure I'm right, Brooke. Let me make sure I'm right. Hold on one second. And there's something definitely, hold on a minute. Right. Right. Hold on. Something definitely amiss here. Mhm. Okay, let me work on it some more. I think I see the problem. Oh, I see the problem. I got it now. I got it now. I got it now. Let me do this. Okay. Okay, I think, let me refresh it all. Let me see now. Okay, it's in there now, Brooke. Woohoo, we got it. Good. We got it. Okay. All right, Brooke, have you done yeah, this is our time, but have you done a count for how many days you have left? How many class days you have left? Have you counted? Okay. All right. Have a great rest of your day. And on Monday, we're going to start something new. Okay. All right. Adios, Brooke. Adios. Have a great day.